Yeah, it's,
Okay, I think we're getting close. Is the mayor, where'd the mayor go?
He's right there. He was like,
I was gonna say, he's probably picking up some trash.
Welcome, everybody. We're on, he's got the green light on, so we're ready to go. I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. The first item we have is assignment for request for council action. 24-219, increase expenditure for Rocco Masonry for the Service Department. 24-220, amend ordinance 7724 regarding US 42 engineering services. 24-221, accept fair market value estimates West Smith Road water line. And 24-222, renewal Medina Municipal Airport lease. 24-219, increase expenditure for Rocco Masonry for the Service Department. Nino?
Thank you, Mr. President. So we've been talking about this for a little while up at the square. You remember the bluestone. So the bluestone was taken out at the corners years ago because the trucks were going up on the corners there where the pedestrians pretty much were walking. Well, in a similar fashion, there's a bunch of areas, probably 60 to 65 in number, that have the sandstone in front of every business. Well, the mayor will tell you and the law director, we've been having some issues with slips, falls, and people getting hurt in different areas around the square. We've been looking at this for a little while, so we have a proposal to have Rocco Masonry come in and remove the areas that are what we would call a hazard, and we have notification of the same. There's probably, like I said, 68 in number. We propose to have half of those taken out this year and replaced in concrete. I did talk to Mr. Smalley and Pam Miller. I did not get a hold of Beth Raymer, but I will, to have a conversation with her before we get the ordinance. It is a tripping hazard that is presented. At the same time, I think everybody's in agreement that concrete should be replaced there. There's actually some areas where the sandstone is completely gone and you see a bed of mortar, and that's it in those places. So I don't know, Patrick, how long has that been? 30 years, maybe 28 years?
Yeah, I think that was like 96 or 97.
That they were actually installed. So I think everybody's in agreement that they need to be replaced, given that there's a safety issue. So that's where, and then it'll be methodically done. I did get several prices. Some contractors didn't even want to look at it because it's a square, the hustle and the bustle, having to be there in front of these buildings is going to be, again, like I said, methodically performed, because plywood have to be placed in front of the building windows in order not to have, obviously, glass breaking when they do the removal, the cleanliness of the area, tear out, prepping the site, and then power washing the area after the matching concrete to the other areas. So that's our discussion here.
when you said matching the concrete, does that mean staining the concrete
So
it kind of resembles
that's,
the
yes,
sandstone?
and that's what Rocco proposed. And I said,
Good.
well, the street department was up there and we just did regular Class C, regular concrete that does white out. But I guess I was going to talk to Patrick before we get to that and see if we want to fade it a little bit so it's not white, bright white. So, and that's not an additional cost. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what we were having the discussion about.
good, thanks.
Yes, sir. But
Any other questions?
if I may, that needs to increase our PO. That's what I wanted to get at in the short story, is to increase our PO for Rocco, because he did a lot of our other concrete work, and we'll have to increase the existing PO by $20,000, and half these sites will be done then.
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 24-220, amend ordinance 7724 regarding US 42 engineering services. Patrick?
Thank you. Yes, that ordinance 7724, authorizing an agreement with American Structure Point to do the engineering design for our 42 resurfacing project, which would run Court Street basically from just north of Homestead to Lafayette. As council will remember, we submitted an application to ODOT for some safety monies to increase the scope of that project to include the bump outs around the square, the four sides of the square. We found out a week or two ago we were successful. We did get awarded the extra $500,000, which brings the total grant funds for this project to a little over $1.4 million. But now that we have the extra work, we do need to engage the consultant to change his scope in order to cover the design costs for the bump outs, and there's a lot of storm sewer work as well associated with it.
And how many total bump outs we gonna do?
There's going to be 2, 4, 6, 12, I believe.
12, all the way from Smith,
Two on the corner of Washington and Court, 2 mid-block there, and then 2 at the corner of Liberty and Court, and then mirrored on Broadway.
oh, okay. So on both sides.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And this will, in addition to the bump outs, because we're doing that work on the 4 sides, now we can increase the scope of the project to actually resurface all 4 sides of the square, which would be nice.
The only question I have with the bump outs, which are great ideas, for Nino's guys, I mean, how does this affect the snow plowing?
So that's a great question. I asked Patrick that, but he hasn't given me an answer. I'm just kidding, he has. So we
Call it
talked about it,
shovels.
and that's why the Ventrac unit that we have, that went through finance 2 weeks ago and will go to council tonight, we plan on using that unit hopefully to blow the snow into the street and then have a plow take it right off onto the next block.
Okay.
And we also have a couple V plows that can clam it. But it's going to be a challenge. I think Pat doesn't realize, but it's going to be a challenge.
It doesn't snow anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't snow anymore. So Patrick, the bump outs, the estimated cost was what again? It's 500,000 was awarded for.
500,000 is awarded. The actual estimate for the bump outs, which includes a lot of storm sewer work, believe it or not, is I think 620. So 120,000 would be our costs.
Okay.
Patrick, the bump outs, are we going to include the ones on Liberty and Washington, mid-block?
Correct. Yeah.
Those as well? Okay, so all 4 mid-blocks and then 2 corners.
No. Well, no. I take that back. No, it's just Court and
Broadway.
Broadway. Yeah.
Okay, why not Washington?
Well,
Why not
Let me
Washington
get back
and
to
Liberty?
you. Those may be on there. I'll let you know.
Okay, because
shortly.
I'm thinking if it's safe going on
Yeah.
the north-south, why not the east-west?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe now that I'm going to correct myself, I believe they are on 4 sides.
Okay.
The mid-blocks are easy to
Yeah,
do.
we-
The intersections, you can only do them where you don't allow a right-hand turn, because that would interfere with the right-hand turn.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 24-221, accept fair market value estimates for West Smith Road water line. Patrick?
Thank you. Council may remember last summer where we had an issue with installing the water line in West Smith under the railroad tracks. They're just west of Elmwood. In essence, we abandoned that issue, just basically tied in our new water line on either side of Smith to the existing. We do need to go in and put new water line in. We designed for that. And this request is, in order to accomplish that, we're going to need to get 4 easements. This request is to approve the 4 appraisals that were done and authorize the mayor to sign those, and then our consultant will make the offer, begin negotiations.
Questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 24-222, renew Medina Municipal Airport lease. Mr. Huber?
We have Ron Waldron, who operates a business called Cold Stream Air Service, managing the airport for the last year, been on somewhat of a trial basis. The ordinance in front of council now proposes to extend his agreement with the city to manage the airport for the next 3 years. He, based on the money, seems to be keeping enough to stay afloat and would like to continue, and the general attitude at the airport's been pretty positive, so we have a short agreement that would extend the agreements we currently have in place for 3 years, and would propose to, if the council passes this, to take this to the airport commission next week, get any input from the commission, and then hopefully put this on the council agenda for passage in the next few weeks.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Coyne?
Yes, Mayor?
So the only other thing is there's, in the agreement, if the council hasn't had a chance to see it yet, is the potential for 2 one-year extensions as well. So it's 3 for sure, and then if everybody's happy one-year extensions, and the reason for that is, you know, we wanted to keep kind of a tighter line on it so that we make sure everybody's happy with the airport operations and not be locked into a long-term agreement that we're not
Right.
happy with.
Right. No, I think it gives them ample time to continue to operate the airport. I mean, things are changing. Of course, it takes a long time to straighten out a ship, but it seems to be going well. I think the users are happier, and there's just a lot more things to do there to make it, you know, we have the, you know, the area of expansion of the runway that'll change a lot when that happens, but it just takes time. Okay, questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Believe it or not, that was it for the agenda. Everybody tired on that one?
Yeah.
I guess we have an executive session. Keith, you have something first?
I just wanted to mention, I sent out all the budget information. I want to say thank you to Tracy in the mayor's office for putting it on the website, because I don't want to clutter up your email inboxes with the 389-page five-year plan. So if there's any questions about that, let me know, but everything's together for it.
Good.
All right, I will make a motion at 6:11 PM to go into executive session for conference with the law director of the city concerning disputes involving the city that are subject to pending or imminent court action, to include the mayor and the law director.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
We'll be recessing into executive session to discuss imminent and pending litigation, returning to finance, and then taking no action of anything discussed in executive session, and then reconvening and then adjourning from finance. We are in recess.